Now, the classical Romans and Greeks had gods and goddesses for every aspect of life. The ancient Hindu religion tells tales of the exploits of many deities, which still bear lessons for believers today. But Christians, Jews, Muslims are required to believe in just one God. Are many gods better than... Good morning again, Jay. How are you doing?
Good morning. Hi there.
Yeah, many gods better than one. Now, Hinduism is an incredibly interesting religion.
Indeed.
I've read about it a lot over the last
Indeed.
week or so.
Indeed.
Very complex, very flexible, and very many people believe many different things.
Indeed.
But some of whom believe in many gods and goddesses.
Indeed. You see, Hinduism is sometimes misunderstood to be a polytheist religion. Means believing in lots of ultimate realities. This is a contradiction in terms. You can't have more than one ultimate, because it's not ultimate enough. Hinduism has never been a polytheist tradition. It has always been a very mature, pluralistic tradition. Not many gods, but many ways to relate to the idea of spirituality. It can incorporate monotheism, means accepting one supreme personality. It can incorporate non-theistic approaches as well as non-religious approaches for making spiritual progress. This is called spiritual democracy, and the lovely word is religious pluralism. Many pathways for exploring spirituality.
So it's to say there is one ultimate supreme being.
Not being, we say it's a principle that underpins this reality, which is essentially spiritual rather than material, that manifests itself at different layers as the material level. And this demarcation between, if you like, man, God, and universe is very artificial. It is time we demolish this artificiality.
Is this the way out? Is this the way out for the Church of England out of their current problems?
In fact, the debate...
Because earlier on you would think they were talking about different gods.
I'm listening to Jay and thinking, gosh, perhaps I'm a Hindu and I...
In fact, the word pluralism in a way resolves the issue of intra-faith dialogue as well. Forget about interfaith, intra-faith dialogue. Because this is the way I relate to the idea of spirituality. This is the way you relate to the idea.
So there are different aspects to
different ways of relating to the idea of spirit.
The supreme power.
Ultimate reality.
And there are different ways of seeing that supreme power. The supreme power has many different faces and relating to
In fact,
Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva.
Whatever. And as a principle even, not as a personality, as a principle that underpins reality called spirit. So in a way, this gives freedom for different people, depending on their own temperament, to relate to the idea of spirituality suited to their own temperament.
And some are goddesses too.
Indeed. Why should God always be a father? Mother goddess is my lovely idea as well.
Yeah. And Ashley is many different types of paganism as well. You're a pagan belief, and you're a witch as well. So many different. Well,
yes, I am.
It's not a problem.
That's all right.
On a Sunday morning here. Lots of gods and goddesses.
Yes. Can I distinguish between witchcraft and paganism? That witchcraft is a religion. Paganism is an umbrella term for a lot of different beliefs and religions.
Yeah.
So paganism is simply the belief that all things are part of a natural world. And all aspects of that natural world have a non-physical part of their being through which they're connected.
So your life force is Mother Earth, that sort of thing?
Yes, that's true. Yeah. And we're all related and connected through our non-physical being. Whereas a religion is a set of practices designed to follow a particular spiritual path. So paganism encompasses a variety.
Brahman in Hindi, Mother Earth to you. So
could it be the same thing? It's very possible.
Well, it has to be, doesn't it? If it's true, it has to be the same thing.
If there is a fundamental reality, as Jay says, a fundamental underlying reality, then yes, it's possible. And because of that, then possibly by approaching divinity from different angles and personifying it in different ways, then one is actually personifying the same overall divinity, in which case monotheism is not precluded from paganism either, in the same way that Hinduism doesn't necessarily preclude
one
polytheism.
more, Chris, as well. What are the advantages of what are the disadvantages of pure, unadulterated monotheism? One God, Jay.
The problem is this: it creates fanatic behavior.
Because
you can have allegiance to one supreme personality. So it puts you at loggerhead with people of other religion as well as people of no religion. Yeah. In fact, it also creates intra-faith issues, as you just noticed, because you become, if you like, the worst form of idolatry is idolatry of the book. Saying it's written in the book is not, you can't interpret it. Then you are in trouble.
You know what? I thought you two might come in here.
Well, Nicky, I had the great privilege of living in India for 6 years, and I dialogued with many Hindu leaders. The problem is this, that, yes, about one ultimate reality, which means this world is a total illusion.
It doesn't mean what is happening is not real. It just means our universe happens to be in the quote-unquote dream of God. We still exist. We were still manifested. We just happen to have been manifested in consciousness rather than shot out of consciousness into some material world separate from God. Why does it matter which one we are in? all the laws of this universe still apply. Would theoretically finding out for certain that this universe is 100% Brahman or consciousness change the entire universe? No. Everything would stay the same for the rest of the universe while you had your own spiritual journey.
It also means that certain people are born to a certain level of life and certain people are born to another level of life, and that is justified. And that means
the caste system.
The caste system, and that means over a third of India's population of 1 billion are regarded as communicable social diseases, such that if I was a low-caste person and my shadow felt on you, you would have to go and ritually wash yourself in order to continue to take part in society.
If this man has had so many encounters with leaders in the Hindu community, he should know that the caste system was never a legitimate product of the Vedas, but rather a societal injustice. Much like the Christian case of feudalism, the caste system was never mentioned in the Vedas, not once. Hereditary grouping of people was never mentioned, not once. There is one verse in the Rig Veda people try to point to, and it goes like this. The Brahmin was his mouth, the Kshatriya was made from his arms, the Vaishya from his thighs, and the Shudra was born from his feet. But this is a hymn of cosmological poetry, not a law code. It wasn't until later that bad people twisted this into supporting a hereditary caste system where they get to be on top and others on the bottom. And on top of that, the entirety of the Vedas contradict a caste system. All humans equally share the divine essence. Sages can arise from any background. There is ultimately no individuality. So saying you can't believe in the philosophy of Hinduism because of the caste system is like saying you can't believe in the philosophy of Jesus because of feudalism or the Crusades. It is a silly and immature way to go about searching for truth.
Now, unfortunately, Hinduism went through a renaissance as a result of its engagement with Christianity in the 19th century. One of those who was a product of that was Gandhi, and Gandhi led the move for democratization, especially of the lower caste. So
Jay must answer.
Yes, he will. But I believe that this becomes a sort of angels on the head of a pin argument when it's divorced from the reality of the experience of this system for a huge number of people, 250 million
but
people.
Is that because of the religion or because of cultural?
Yes. You see, this idea of vilifying Hinduism in the name of hereditary hierarchical caste system is same as saying Christianity is even, is idea of crusading, or Islam is idea of terrorism. An atrocity committed in the name of religion cannot be used in order to remove this kind of marvelous broad vision of Hinduism. So idea of kind of vilifying Hindus in the name of caste, hereditary hierarchical caste system had never any sanction of authority from the scriptures or authority of Hindus.
We live in a society with many gods. They're called mobile phones, iPods, flash cars, bankers' bonuses. These are the gods that prevail in our society at the moment. And some people would criticise Christianity for having 3 gods.
Yeah, the Holy Trinity.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
It's a problem for Abraham.
But I think the real issue is actually how the different faiths actually interact and work together for the common good.
We heard earlier on in your discussions with our friends there, with Chris and with Alison. It was like hearing about different gods.
It's troubling. It's troubling to me. This is precisely the point. There were different interpretations.
You were talking love, and she was talking love, but also judgment.
Yeah, there were different interpretations, and we move forward in different ways, and that's why I believe the Christian Church should have the profoundest of respect for other faith traditions and recognise that they experience God, ultimate reality, ground of being, whatever words we want to use, through their own particular traditions, and humanism as well.
Milo,
and it's important that we make that recognition and not think that one particular religion trumps every other religion.
Correct.
I like this guy. He sounds like a Hindu himself. As they say, there are many paths to God in Sanatan Dharma.
Christianity sees God through the person of Jesus,
I'm sorry.
but we shouldn't take that to an arrogant position.
From a religious leader, that is the most absurd thing to hear from a religious leader, that we shouldn't think that one religion trumps the others. Obviously, you have no interest in whether Christianity has a claim to truth or not. I mean, that seems ridiculous.
This is a good example of a man with hate in his heart. When I was a Christian, it was people who behaved in this manner that showed me 99% of them have not been transformed by God. How can you behave with such hostility towards someone espousing for the common good while also calling yourself born again by Jesus? This shows me that no, you don't get transformed or go to heaven just because you say you follow Jesus. And that is what many Christians believe. There are so many different denominations, but that is the Pauline theology.
Christians see and experience God through the person of Jesus.
I come through Jesus.
Right. Peter, sorry. Ashley, in a minute. Peter?
Far from taking the view that many gods are better than one God, I would say that no God is better than any God. I absolutely respect and defend people of faith who are being persecuted. I work to help support Christians in Pakistan who are being persecuted, Sunni Muslims who are being persecuted in Iran.
Wherever you see persecution.
But at the end of the day, I think that reason, rational argument, scientific knowledge is a better way to understand the world than the superstition of religion.
Yes, and believing that consciousness comes before the brain rather than the other way around is a scientific viewpoint, not superstition. Reincarnation has over 3,000 case studies at the university level published in scientific journals. That is not superstition. I agree that superstition should not be a part of mainstream religion if it is not clearly used to teach a lesson. Pure superstition, for the sake of it, helps no one.
You believe the only way to eternal life is through Jesus Christ, don't you? So the millions of people the world over are condemned to what? Because they don't believe in Jesus. What are they condemned to?
Well, they're condemned to eternal death, punishment from God. That's what the Bible teaches.
And she says it without a care in the world.
There's the love of God.
Sorry?
There's the love of God. If there is an ultimate reality, and that ultimate reality is somehow responsible for everything that is, it's a pretty mean thing to actually do that, I think. And that's why Peter, I think Peter's dichotomy is an incorrect one. I think it's a both and, not an either or.
Sorry.
I just want to make 2 points. I lived in India for a year doing volunteer service overseas. It was fascinating to see the various gods. And when you came to the pujas, or the sort of celebrations, the goddess Kali, for example, the goddess of death, you see people hack down a piece of tree, make their god, then they have loads and loads of smoke. You almost see, because of all the people and the working up the people, that the thing can move. After the puja, what do they do with the god? It's chucked in the river or chucked on the bonfire.
What's the difference between the body and the blood of Christ? I mean, there's
transubstantiation is something different.
No. I just believe that's done in remembrance of his death and passion.
Jay, 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Jay.
Vilifying another religion in order to score points for your own religion is not going to work in this modern day and times. It's necessary to look at the deeper ideas of religion and, in a way, not throw away the baby with the dirty bathwater and hanging on to the idea of spirituality. And I'm promoting the idea of spiritual humanism is the way forward.
The way forward. Thank you very much. That's all we've got time for. Next week we're at Birmingham for now. It's goodbye from everyone here in Leicester. Have a great Sunday.